Happy Lunar New Year, guys. Woo! Welcome to Daily Variety, your daily dose of news and analysis for entertainment industry insiders. It's Thursday, February 19th, 2026. I'm your host, Cynthia Littleton. I am co-editor-in-chief of Variety alongside Ramin Satuda. I'm in LA, he's in New York, and Variety has reporters around the world covering the business of entertainment. In today's episode, we'll hear from Variety's Jazz Tanke on her odyssey with the cast and the musicians behind K-pop Demon Hunters. That greeting you heard at the beginning was a clip from the screening and panel that Variety hosted on February 17th at the Egyptian Theater. It coincided with the publication of Variety's special standalone K-pop Demon Hunters issue, and it coincided with the Lunar New Year. We'll talk to Jazz, and we'll have highlights from her panel, which brought together for the first time the three actors and the three singers who powered Netflix's animated musical smash. But before we get to that, here are a few headlines just in this morning that you need to know. FCC Chairman Brendan Carr told Fox News that the Commission has initiated enforcement proceedings against ABC's The View for violations of the equal time rule. The FCC Chairman's latest crusade against long-held norms is to deem that late-night and daytime talk shows are not news and therefore need to adhere to equal time rules involving political candidates. ABC News, which produces The View, had no immediate comment. Sandra Stern is bringing the curtain down on her 40-year career as an entertainment executive. Stern will step down as vice chairman of Lionsgate TV Group in March. She helped build the TV division into one of the industry's largest suppliers over her 23 years with the studio. 60 Minutes is on the move. The Manhattan offices of the venerable news magazine will move across the street on West 57th into the facility that houses most of CBS News. It's only across the street, but that separation that 60 Minutes traditionally had of being in its own building was symbolic, and so is this move. All of these stories and so much more can be found on Variety.com right now. Jazz Tanke, I think you are now officially a K-pop demon hunter yourself. You spearheaded this. Variety did a standalone K-pop Demon Hunters issue, the definitive story of this movie and all of the artists and the pop group Huntrix that has had this hit that you cannot get out of your head, golden for so long. And it culminated in a special standalone issue that published on Tuesday, February 17th, and that coincided with a screening and a post-screening Q&A we are going to hear some portions of. I know how invested, how much you love this movie and the story of it. What was it like for you to be at the Egyptian, talking to fans and talking to these great artists that you have come to know?
It was so special and magical because the issue celebrated the first time the singing and acting voices of Huntrix were together. So that was our exclusive. To keep that a secret for like months was so hard. And then to have them come together in the evening when it was pouring rain and to see the Egyptian filled out, it was so magical because it was also so special for these women. We happened to launch it on Lunar New Year. So to hold it up in front of an audience, they were so moved and you could feel the love, like it was back and forth. So it was a very emotional evening, but yeah, fun because, you can't be too serious. You've got to have a little bit of
when you're talking about K-pop Demon
exactly.
Hunters. It's a great example of how Hollywood is escapist and can be confection, but underneath it all, it's a business, and it's a business of human artistry. You, Jazz Tanke, captured that so well. Let me just ask you, what was the question that you were dying to ask them that you got in last night?
Oh my gosh. So EJ has been very vocal about having to write Golden and how she kept in the A5 note. It's a very high note that we hear her sing. The question that I was dying to ask was actually going back to Ray, who says when she was trying to audition for the movie, she was like, I'm absolutely not going to sing that note. Ray does not sing that note. And I was like, but do you hit it? And what was it like and she tells the story, so you can listen to the soundbite.
All right, we will listen for her answer. You're about to get on a plane for us to go to London to do some more incredible craft coverage for us, and we'll probably talk to you about that later when you get back. And I can't wait for listeners to hear the highlights from your panel with the voice actors and the musical actors that so enlivened K-pop Demon Hunters. Safe travels, Jazz.
Thank you so much.
As Jazz said, recapping the K-pop Demon Hunters experience was so emotional for the group, even though they've been riding the wave since the movie premiered last June. We'll start our panel highlights with Audrey Nuna talking about what the movie's success and the recognition from Variety has meant to the Korean diaspora.
Wow. I think today I'm thinking a lot about our grandmas, our moms, our great grandmas, and just every person who has allowed for us to sit here today and, sit on the cover of Variety magazine. I think about the sacrifices that they had to make, the kind of honestly bullshit that they had to deal with in order for us to kind of live these lives of full expression and fully embrace all the parts of ourselves, which is what this genius film is so much about. So I just feel like, it's not just seeing a project succeed. I feel like this is the story of our lives, and also just being on the end of a thread of history that goes back so long. And here we are in this present moment. And honestly, I just feel so grateful and proud of each and every one of you guys. And also just anyone that this film represents.
May. I just feel like we have now been blessed with this superpower where we just get to make people happy, children happy. That feels like a huge superpower. It's insane. I've never been more popular with children in my life. Like, still, I'm kind of like pinch me about it. It'll probably land tomorrow.
And Ray?
It just, again, just reminds me that there's so much to be proud about who I am as a Korean woman. Yes, I'm much more than that, but there's so much that goes into who I am, and a lot of it is Korean. So just reminding myself, wow, you should be so proud because you're so badass. Look at your mom, look at your aunties, look at your grandma. Look at what they raised you to be, and look at what you're doing. So if anything, this should be a reminder to dream bigger. There is no ceiling. If you think there is, it's imaginary, go break it.
Yeah, when I come down to you, Jiyoung, because when we talked about it, what did it mean to get a script that really centers on Korean folklore at the heart of its narrative?
I think there's so many avenues of storytelling we have yet to explore, and this is just the beginning of it. And it's been such a pleasure to see all the animators and Maggie and Chris and the screenwriters and everyone else who's behind the camera talk about developing the story and the details that went into it. All of the attention to detail feeds into this larger thing of historical importance and like the spiritual connectedness I feel with this movie and Sinners. The power of music reaching through time and space, and like the power of your ancestors to fight mythological creatures, I think is incredible and moving and striking when you watch it on screen. It's so cinematic.
Ray, I've got to ask you, writing Golden, what was it like singing? Or should I say, rapping the words? Like, talk about your thoughts when you first heard and saw those lyrics.
For Golden specifically? Okay. Well, initially, that high note, the A5 that you hear EJ has hit, I was supposed to sing that for the audition material, but I was just like, no. Sorry, out of my range, can't do it. And if I try, it's probably going to hurt my chances of getting this role. So I just said, sorry, can't do it, but here's everything else. And so got the role, yay. Now I had to actually sing it. So I was like, what in the world? So actually, first day of recording, I walked in and EJ was hitting that A5 in the studio, and that's how I met her. And no, raw live vocals. I thought they were tuning it, they were fixing it. Nope, that was just her live. I was so shocked. I was extremely intimidated because I saw it in the flesh of how it's supposed to sound. So it's like, okay, no pressure. this one line I have to sing, it requires me to be like vulnerable kind of ish. And so then, Ian Eisendrath, our executive music producer, he was phenomenal working with him back and forth, really channeling the emotion and with voice singing and acting. I like often found myself crying in and out like during my breaks just because it pushed me a lot and also forced me to reflect internally about like childhood trauma.
Audrey, what about you?
And I was so humbled by this project in so many ways because I learned so much. I kind of thought like I'm gonna step in and do this thing I've never done before, and then I'm gonna walk away, But this song really changed my perspective on a lot of things. But even from a music standpoint, I think that at the time, especially when I recorded, a lot of the music that I was listening to just coming out all the time, I felt very disconnected to it. And I didn't really understand why. And I think looking back, I'm like, I think there's such a glorification of nonchalance sometimes, especially in the era that we're in right now, where we're all cool, everything's aesthetic, whatever that means to each person. And I think Golden is a song that you are putting yourself out there. If you're singing that song, if you are jamming to that song, if you love that song, you're connecting to a part of yourself that is so, in a way, vulnerable and in a way so pure. And I think it really just brought back this like naivete that sometimes being in the music industry for a long time takes away from you, which is like, wow, we can actually really yearn for something, hope for something, really actually, bust ass trying to get the note right and do the take 70 times if you need to do it because maybe you're just not good enough yet to do it, but you should keep trying. I think that energy really mobilized my life in ways that I only understand now and just completely changed my perspective on the point of music, honestly, and the point of making things that connects with people in a way that's not too cool to really connect. So thank you, EJ, for that.
I would have dreamed of a movie like this when I was a kid. But then to see where we've come, I mean, this is very meta. And I feel like this movie is so beyond all of us. And it's like, just to be able to be a part of it, I feel like I've sort of kind of gotten this like resurge of energy and hope. And I'm like a dreamer now. And I also feel like I'm like 15 years younger. I feel like this movie has made me have hope in this business again and reminded me why I love movies and how this all makes me feel. And again, I love that our movie makes people feel good. Go ahead, EJ.
It's really weird because this film, not only just watching it, but in the creation of it was a very, very healing journey for me. I was dropped as a K-pop trainee as a kid and, heard a lot of things about my singing voice, to be honest, saying that it was too low or kind of ugly. So while writing the songs, I was very ashamed of me being dropped as a K-pop trainee, and this movie kind of allowed me to embrace that side, actually. It was actually a superpower. That hurt that I had and the pain that I went through kind of helped me write the songs. My experiences in K-pop training helped in writing some of the concept of songs like Your Idol, or even with Golden, like when we wrote it, like it really helped me accept my voice and challenged me to sing and to be confident and to be able to sing those high notes. So, I just think this movie saved me, to be honest.
As we close out today's episode, here's a few things we're watching for. Don't miss the CNN Variety Town Hall with Timothée Chalamet and Matthew McConaughey, airing Saturday, February 21st on CNN at 7 p.m. Eastern. The two actors sat down in Austin to talk about a whole lot of things in front of an audience of students from the University of Texas. Don't miss it. Monday marks the deadline for Warner Brothers Discovery's 7 days of negotiations with Paramount Skydance. Who knows what will transpire over the weekend? After that, Netflix gets 4 days to match any new offer from Paramount Skydance. We'll be all over it, so keep watch on Variety.com. And Wednesday, February 25th, will bring Paramount Skydance's fourth quarter earnings report. This Monday also marks the dawn of a new Dick Wolf franchise on CBS. CIA revolves around a secretive and roguish CIA agent played by Tom Ellis and a by-the-book FBI agent played by Nick Gelfus. David Hudgens is the showrunner. And speaking of things that are golden, in difficult times, it's always good to know where you can find a TV friend. The Golden Girls is joining the lineup of MeTV starting March 16th. We love to hear from our listeners, so please send thoughts, gripes, and other feedback about Daily Variety to podcasts@variety.com. Before we go, congrats to Patrick Harris. He's been named Senior VP of Global Media Revenue for Roku. Harris comes to the streaming and channels platform after working in ad sales and partnerships for Snap and for Meta. Thanks for listening. This episode was written and reported by me, Cynthia Littleton, with contributions from Jazz Tanke. Stick, snicks, hick, picks. Please leave us a review at the podcast platform of your choice, and please tune in Monday for another episode of Daily Variety.